can't talk about milk duds when your hair's so shiny it catch every reflection in this room.
Oh my God. Welcome back to the Live Line TV and Radio as the commercial carries over. I am the homie Banboy Resight, Mr. Voice of Reason in the 504. You guys should have heard the commercial break. Commercial break! Does anybody else would like to introduce themselves before we talk about our guest?
It's the girl, GW,
This your boy DJ Platinum.
And the world turns with them too.
aka Milk Dud.
You heard me. And we got the one, the only, the Morning Brew host himself in the building. Man, what's happening with your Dime P?
Good.
Man, what's up, guys, man?
Thank you for coming through. Welcome to the panel. Y'all give them a round of applause. Pulling up, you heard me?
Thank you guys for
in the making.
thank you guys for having me. And I would like to start off by saying, man, it's nice over here. This is fine. Y'all
We gotta
had
pull out the red carpet for
man,
royalty.
they had like a little green room table, had little wings in there, had like some rice and stuff, sandwiches.
Yeah,
and
man. You know, we
Had
got
some
we got
drinks
chicken
in them.
next door.
Yeah.
We've been doing it like that for a while now. You can ask BJ.
So I just want to commend you guys. It's nothing like when you go to a place, they make sure you feel home and welcome. Thank you so much, man. That's
For
nice.
sure.
Our pleasure.
I appreciate
My
that,
fellow
brother.
media
Well,
colleague, man. So
speaking of
I have
home,
to give you all the compliments that I can whenever I get a
I
chance.
soak them all in, you know what I'm saying? I'm
Nah,
like that
definitely.
shower towel when you jump out, just soak it all in.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah. Nice over here, man. I like it.
Speaking of home, this once was a home for you. You know what I'm saying? Here at the New Orleans Talk Network.
No, definitely.
You did some work here
The
way back in the day with
very,
Gerard Stevens.
very early days of New Orleans Talk Network, man. Shouts
Before my
out to
days, before I got here.
Gerard Stevens, definitely. Your uncle, Mr. Jones.
Yeah, Pastor Jones.
Pastor Jones, definitely, were instrumental in my media career. I think those were probably some of the earlier days of my independent media career because, I had my corporate media career and then I had my independent media career where I, started really just kind of going on my own.
Most definitely, bro. It's been a long time coming since then. You gave me my first real interview. You know what I'm saying? As an artist, independent artist, you know what I'm saying? We had, when I standing on my own as Banboy Resight out there in the streets. The college was Loyola.
Yeah, Loyola University, man. They had Crescent City Radio, which they had an independent radio station. At that time, I was working for WWL, but I was working for a producer. But moving from Atlanta, I was kind of coming from used to being a talent, doing TV hosting, and also doing radio. But I also was a producer and did other jobs in radio. So when I took my first job in New Orleans, it was for WWL as a producer. And I wanted to be on the radio. I just felt like, producing at WWL, one of the things that I noticed was I could tell in New Orleans that there was a voice that wasn't being heard because WWL was like the number one station. And I would see a lot of times when they're putting shows out there and they're producing things, I just got a chance to look at like some of, for lack of better terminology, some of the propaganda that was pushing out on mainstream media, and I wanted to have a voice. And so I started a partnership with Loyola University and Crescent City Radio to produce my first independent show, which was Don P and the 411. So yeah, man, you was on that show.
That was back in 2010 or 11, I believe. Yeah.
If I had a dollar for every time somebody told me I gave them their first radio interview, it's crazy.
So tell me where the Don P came from. How did you get the Don P name?
Oh, that's a good one. How I got the Don P name. I graduated with my bachelor's from the University of Southern Mississippi. And I guess I have to tell you kind of how I got into radio. Well, no, the Don P name came, it came a little bit before radio, but I think it stuck because of radio. Like when the Don P name came, nobody was calling me that. Like it was one night, it was one time, somebody said it. It never really stuck. I had this big party when I was leaving to go to college. I had to leave to go to college early because I was running track at Southern Miss. But all of my homies from the hood had threw me a party. And one of my friends had bought like a case of Dom Perignon champagne or whatever. And shout out to DJ Sergeant Rock. You know what I'm saying? He was like, man, we're going to start calling you Don P. But it never stuck. But a few 2 years later, I'm doing an internship at the radio station, Wild 106.3. And one day, the program director walked in and he was like, man, you've been doing a good job with the interning. He was like, you want a job? You want your own show? And I'm like, never mind you, I'm like 19, 20 years old. Like, I'm sophomore in college. So I'm like, fucking right, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this is great. And so, to be honest, at that time I was really more into music, but at that time I fell in love with radio. But it was on the spot. Do you want a job? I'm like, yes. He said, all right, great, get ready. You go on in 10 minutes. Damn. Yeah, it was something crazy.
Right on the spot.
Yeah, well, I would be helping out the guy that did that shift. It wouldn't be me by myself, it would be him. But I didn't know that at the time. That guy was getting fired that day, and I was taking his job that day. Wow. The same person that the same person that was training me for like 3 weeks. I built a relationship with him and everything. And so it's 10 minutes till I go on the radio and they say, what's gonna be your radio name? And I'm trying to think of all of this stuff, and I just remembered that time, and I was like, man, shoot, I'm gonna go with Don P, you know?
And that's the birth of Don P.
And it stuck. It's 25 years later.
Well, damn, you look 25, so I don't know what you was doing before that. You know what I'm saying? But nah, for real, you're aging right quite well in this this radio industry. So that's the birth of Don P. Great question, Platinum.
And I have to throw this part out there because it gives me a chance to do some shout outs and recognitions and stuff like that because I've done so much. The same guy that I took his job last year, I was his main radio personality on 104.7. Mm-hmm. He's the general manager out there at 104.7. He hired me to run his
no hard feelings.
Run his afternoons.
No hard feelings.
Ain't that crazy?
Nah, but you're a great talent. No hard feelings.
Wonderful.
Know? And that's the music. That's the radio business. Like, it's crazy how, they can fire somebody and replace someone that day. And in the radio industry, they don't really give you the 2 weeks thing. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, they do it the same day.
Yeah.
Because they're not gonna give you time to go on air and say anything or prepare yourself. Like it's gonna definitely be like a crash out type thing. You're gonna walk in and for real.
It was all good just 45 minutes ago.
Yeah, no, for real. Like you was eating lunch at the company dinner and all that shit, and it'd be brutal. I've seen it brutal. Now, one thing I will say is, unfortunately, I got in the game a long time ago in the radio industry, and it's real sad to see that how radio is. I won't say it's dying, but I would say it's declining because of syndication. So many jobs, they just narrow the jobs down, so it's not as many opportunities because of syndication. But that's where podcasts and independent come in.
Do you think that digital platforms are really like taking over terrestrial platforms? Is digital platforms the primary thing these days, or
yes,
do you see that in the future?
Yes and no. Yes, I think ultimately when you look at exposure and things like that, when you look at how many people are using these particular things, I would say digital has mostly taken over terrestrial. But financially,
terrestrial
still reigns king.
Yes, and it's also, it increases your profit margin if you're on terrestrial, because that means
Oh man, I play your song on the radio. You can stream it thousands of times. It's not.
it hits different.
We are not the same.
Yeah, it hits different.
Um,
It hits different.
and it's funny to me not to not hear other radio personalities say that, and I'm not saying that to be cocky. I'm saying that's the truth. Now I also think that the music industry should probably do something about that, but that's reality.
Okay. Most definitely.
Because I'm also one of those people that fell victim of being like, man, terrestrial is going away. But an old head in radio was like, go turn your radio on.
So let me
The
ask you-
people making the most money in music, where they at?
On the radio.
Yeah, sure. And I
tell
was like,
artists
oh,
that
okay.
All the time. You have to have radio spins. Like, you cannot just mark that, like, off.
Well, I'm not one of those people. I think you could do it without.
You can, but if you want, listen, like you say, it's syndicated. If you want your music to be syndicated all over if your music is syndicated all over the place, that means your brand.
If you want to be a world star,
Yeah.
like you want to be a world star, yeah,
Radio.
you're probably gonna have to. It's probably gonna take some radio, in a little bit. But we've seen a lot of cases where
It's only been
in modern
one
day society
that we
where
can
people
see
don't.
NBA Youngboy.
Facts.
He did it without
Yeah,
radio.
bananas.
Yeah, he did it without radio, but besides that, no one else was really.
I'm really trying to think of somebody else right now that's like a
that
world
did it,
star.
without radio.
It's very difficult to think of someone else. I'm
Let me-
sitting here thinking, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's somebody out there, right?
We'll talk about it, off air, because we're gonna be here all day.
What's your favorite thing about doing radio?
Man, I come from old school radio, so I love to find ways to be informative and entertaining at the same time. Like I think old school radio, and that's probably a little bit different from podcasting. I feel like anybody could, no offense, could podcast and go tell their opinion. You feel what I'm saying? But I think the difference between radio is like when we got into radio, old school radio, like it was rules to the game. We had to learn, we had to train. It was a certain amount of ethics that had to be followed. It was law before I go and put a story out there. I had to vet the story to at least see if some of these things are true. And to be able to do that, be informative but entertaining at the same time, I feel like it's just a different skill set. So that's what I love about radio versus other forms of medium. And I mean, I love TV too, but to be informative and entertain at the same time, I think that's my passion.
Okay, if you can do anything else besides radio, what would you be doing?
I probably would have been a lawyer.
A lawyer?
Yeah, I definitely thought about being a lawyer. Yeah, I love to look at things.
You love to debate. We done had a few in the barbershop.
Yeah, I love to
Strong,
debate.
you're opinionated. You have strong
I love to
facts.
debate, but I
Yeah.
love to prove
Argue
a point.
facts.
Yeah, and argue facts. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so you would be mostly defending. Would you be mostly defending? Or
And
put somebody up?
hell yeah, I would
Don
want to
is
be
a great conversationalist.
I think I would have been a defendant because of, growing up in Mississippi and really dealing with like seeing people, you know what I'm saying, oppressed. Hell yeah, I'm fighting for the people. That's who I am. That's a part of my character. I'm fighting for the people. I could never be a damn prosecutor. Yeah, nah, I can't work in no jail. I can't be no police. I can't do none of that, and I respect people that can. I just feel like I'm comfortable with understanding what's for me and what's not for me. That's not for me. You feel what I'm saying? How I feel, I'm biased, and I know I'm biased, so I don't need to put myself in a job where it requires me to be unbiased when I already know I'm biased.
That makes sense.
That's the problem I got with some of these police. You getting a job when you already know you.
Bias.
you know you biased. So why you get that job?
Ooh, I feel you on that. We only got a few minutes left. So as you're doing right now, Morning Brew, you know what I'm saying? It's coming on every morning. You're working with New Orleans legend, music legend, Mr.
Oh
Servon.
yeah, man! Shout out Mr.
You know.
Servon, my newest co-host, the Morning Brew.
And you guys are doing a great job, man. What's that experience like working with Mr. Servon and things like that?
It's crazy because it's Mr. Servon. I mean, it's No Limit Records. You know, he a legend. But we knew each other before. So we had a relationship before. He came on the show a few times, and I was like going through some transition with interns and stuff like that. And I was like, man, I think I want to do a co-host, but I want to do somebody that's going to be here for a little while because I got my internship college program in which I train media people. And so I usually use people from that program, from my media enhancement program. But I was like, man, I really want somebody that's going to be here for a while. And it was just kind of crazy that Serv, at the time when I was thinking about that, I had started putting some ads out. And Serv called me and he was like, you ever, what you going to do with that co-hosting position? And I was like, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to fill it. To be honest with you, I was looking for something specific that wasn't Serv, but I think it was a blessing in disguise. Like we talked about like what it would look like. You know, we talked about pros and cons. He talked about his goals of where he was going in his next phase of his career. He talked about the benefits for both of us, and we came to an agreement that was, you know, a good agreement. And I mean, we've been rocking ever since. And I definitely we've seen the success of it, of our partnership. I mean, and we got some surprises for the new year too.
Most definitely, 2026, big things to come.
Yes, sir.
You know, so we got you in. I really appreciate you for accepting the invitation
Thanks for coming.
to come help assist us with the live mic IRL music event. Thank you for that.
Oh yeah, man,
big deal for us.
I'm super excited about that one. Like I think that's gonna be big for the city, and I want to thank you, Platinum, for this is something me and Platinum been talking about weeks ago of like all of us getting together and making it happen. So I got to big up Platinum for even he manifest that. We talked about this and to see it coming together, and then really to see us on the independent level and the independent media level of bringing so many different entities in one room. This is what industry is about. And so I'm excited about you being the host of the first, you know, everybody coming together. But what I hope that we can achieve out of this is more events of us working as collaboratives and really showing a major force for the industry. You know, because at the end of the day, like, you know, I'm about, man, I want to see our culture win. You feel what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
I think this is a plus.
Yeah,
It's a major. This major right here.
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of historical, to be honest with you.
anybody who know Don P, he gonna be bringing the energy. He gonna need 2 mics, y'all. You know what I'm saying? All he need is 1 mic, but he gonna need 2 because he gonna run the batteries out on 1. You know what I'm saying? So GW, you had anything else you want to ask before we let's do this. Let's do this. You one of the best hosts that we have in our city. Can I invite you to join us for the rest of the show? Hang up here with us. Help us out with our next few guests.
Don't mind if I do. You got drinks over there. You got snacks and stuff. You know,
Let's do that, Don, because
mean-
it wouldn't be right. I mean, how does it feel to be on the other side? You're always the one that's doing the interviewing.
you know what? It always feels different being on the other side. I was just saying it on the radio the other day. I was messing with Nola Zine, and
Shout out to Nola Zine.
I was
Shout out
messing
to
with
Nola.
Nola Zine, and I said, man, why y'all don't ever interview me? I got a story to tell. We always doing the interviews. We need to interview each other.
You hear that, huh, D?
And lo and behold, man, you got a chance to link up, and you was like, "You want to come on?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's make it happen." So Manifest.
Yeah, manifest. We're going to keep
Pray.
manifesting.
Manifest.
Nola
Speak it,
Pray.
Zine, I'm
speak it
going to speak
into
it into
existence.
existence right now. We're going to
Praise.
prophesize it.
Pray,
Nola
prophesy.
Zine will be on a platform in 2026.
Pray it up.
He
Say pray it
will
up.
be on this platform
Man,
in
man, shout out
2026.
to my
He will be
dog,
on camera.
Nola Zine. I gotta show him some love on his growth and everything that he been doing in his media platform. And since we shouting out media
Definitely one of the-
platforms,
yes.
big up to Chuck Muller too.
Chuck
Yes,
Mulai and all of
yeah.
the other bloggers and vloggers out there in the 504 and all of the other zip codes in the state that's holding it
Oh
down.
Lord, you're killing me. I don't want no. Hey, it's two media platforms in the city that I find somewhat entertaining from afar. That's Keith Cara and OG Murder. Why I find some of those things entertaining, I am very scared. I don't
Those two
want.
platforms
I don't
have
want. I don't want.
No
I don't want
problem.
no problems, son. I'm all about positivity and peace. I am.
Us too.
I celebrate and respect them guys, but I be so scared. I be like, I don't want it.
We don't dibble and dabble in it, but those two platforms, those two shows have become the number one source of information in the 504.
Crazy.
Straight up.
But again, man, shouts out to all of those platforms out there, man. OG Murder was on the Morning Brew a few times. Like,
shout out to OG Murder,
Yeah.
man. And I always say from the very beginning, it should not be that narrative behind what he's talking about. I've said it extensively. We should not want people to perish. People have freedom of speech. If you don't like it, challenge it. If you can't challenge it, it is our democracy. For all those who were carrying that narrative when all of that shit hit the fan, initially with OG Murder, and anyone else who decides to dibble and dab in that type of content, if you don't like it, it's our democracy. Everyone has the right. You can't challenge it. You probably need to evaluate your life. That's just all I need to say about that.
Oh, I feel.
Because I know he speaks heavily on a lot of people, but it's his opinions. If you don't like it, sue him.
Man, yeah, it's one of those. That's one of those type of things where, you have to find your cup of tea.
Exactly. Or don't listen to it.
If that makes
Don't watch
sense.
it.
Like they got a lot of options out there.
Don't watch
You feel
it.
what I'm saying?
But
So
for all the people he talking about.
some stuff, if it's not your cup of tea, then to keep your peace, because it's really about your peace.
Mm-hmm.
To keep your peace, like I like my peace. So typically things that vex my peace.
Spirit.
You feel what I'm saying? I typically shy away from it, and so unless it's being forced upon me, you feel what I'm saying? I have the willpower to, so I don't have to vex my peace. So I don't have to complain. I don't have to talk about it. You feel what I'm saying? Now, when it comes to culture, I would like to encourage as many of my media people as possible to just offer somewhat balance, and I've seen that from both of those platforms where they've tried to offer some kind of balance there. Now, who am I to judge what that balance should be?
I just want to tell Enola, it's time for us to get past it, bro. Social media is what it is. It is hard. It is very, very hard to sit up here and say someone should perish because of their opinions.
No.
If you don't like them, keep it moving. That's just my opinion.
That's what the people were saying about Charlie Kirk.
I never said that about Charlie Kirk, and
But I'm saying the people were saying the same thing.
What happened with him, we can have a conversation about it. But us as black men, we need to do better. I will say that. But besides that, brother, man, we gonna move on. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Man, I need your help with something, bro. We got this live line approved. You heard me. And we going to get off into the next portions of our show. We got BJ So Cold still in the building. You know what I'm saying? We got DJ Trail still in the building. We got BJ coming up next, you heard me. we going to have Don P with the Morning Brewe to stick around and help us out with that. So, Don P, can you help us out with this the live line approved, which is the second song right there. Can you do that announcement for us, big brother?
Oh, all right. The second song, that's the Line Live approved. That's
yeah,
it.
help
I
us
got
out.
it
Who
right.
we got right there, big dog?
Hey
Featuring
man,
Live Line
that's
Approved today.
Jimmy New. Jimmy New right there. Son of legendary mystical right there.
Versatile.
Versatile.
We'll be back with BJ So Cold's the Live Line TV and radio, bro. Don't go nowhere. You already know.
It's nice.
Yo, what's up? What's up? You're rocking with DJ Toon. Subscribe to us on Liveline TV on YouTube. But if y'all want more, go click on the notification bell.